What if I told you that the key to unlocking your true potential, to mastering your mind and forging unbreakable resilience, isn't found in light, but in darkness? Not in embracing positivity alone, but in confronting the very parts of yourself you've been taught to deny, to fear, to hide away. Carl Jung, the enigmatic titan of analytical psychology, didn't just suggest this, he proved it. He taught us that our greatest enemy, and paradoxically, our greatest ally, lurks in the shadows of our own psyche. This isn't just theory, it's a profound, life-altering truth that stands at the bedrock of genuine self-mastery. The journey into your shadow isn't a descent into madness, it's an ascension to wholeness, a radical act of self-love that can redefine your entire existence. Prepare to meet the hidden architect of your fate. Think about it. Have you ever found yourself caught in patterns you swore you'd break? Repeating toxic relationship dynamics even when you know better? Feeling an inexplicable surge of rage or envy when someone else succeeds, even someone you care about? Or perhaps you've experienced bouts of crippling self-doubt, procrastination that derails your biggest dreams, or a subtle, gnawing feeling of inauthenticity, as if you're living a life that isn't truly yours. You set goals, you strive for growth, yet time and again, something pulls you back, sabotages your efforts, whispers insidious doubts in your ear. This isn't simply a lack of willpower, nor is it some external curse. More often than not, this invisible enemy, this internal saboteur, is your unacknowledged shadow. It's the collection of all the traits, impulses, desires, and experiences you've deemed unacceptable, for yourself, by society, by your upbringing, and consciously pushed into the darkest corners of your unconscious mind. But here's the crucial twist. What you repress does not disappear. It merely gains power. It operates from the depths, influencing your choices, twisting your perceptions, and subtly, yet relentlessly, dictating the course of your life, often against your conscious will. It breeds insecurity, fuels projection, and perpetuates cycles of self-defeat. Until you face this hidden force, you are not truly free. You are a puppet to the parts of yourself you refuse to see. This brings us to the profound insights of Carl Jung. For Jung, the shadow isn't just a metaphor, it's a vital, autonomous complex within the psyche. It represents everything we are, but choose not to be. It's the dark side of the personality, comprising primal instincts, repressed emotions, undesirable traits, and even creative potential that has been deemed unacceptable. Imagine your conscious ego as a spotlight, illuminating certain aspects of your personality while pushing others into the darkness. The shadow thrives in that darkness. But the shadow isn't merely evil, it's amoral, a raw, untamed force. It holds not only the seeds of our destructive tendencies, our anger, greed, lust, envy, but also our undeveloped capacities, our disowned strengths, our authentic vitality, and even our hidden genius. Think of the timid person who secretly harbors a desire for power, or the rigid moralist who yearns for spontaneity. These repressed desires don't vanish, they accumulate in the shadow. Jung taught that the shadow originates from two main sources, the personal unconscious and the collective unconscious. The personal shadow is formed by individual life experiences, the criticism, the shame, the societal pressures that led us to suppress certain traits. The collective shadow, a deeper, more primal layer, contains the universally rejected aspects of humanity, archetypal darkness that resonates across cultures and time. This is why certain dark figures or narratives hold such universal appeal and horror. Crucially, Jung distinguished the shadow from the persona. The persona is the mask we wear for the world, the socially acceptable image we present. It's often necessary for navigating society, but if it becomes too rigid, it can divorce us from our true selves. The shadow, conversely, is the truth beneath the mask, the messy, unpolished, authentic self. The great danger lies in the repression of the shadow. When we refuse to acknowledge these disowned parts, they don't just sit idly by. They demand expression, often manifesting in destructive ways, through uncontrolled emotional outbursts, irrational fears, prejudice, self-sabotage, or projecting our own undesirable traits onto others. That intense dislike you feel for a particular person, their perceived flaws infuriating you, Jung would argue that you're likely seeing a reflection of your own unacknowledged shadow. We despise in others what we refuse to confront in ourselves. Jung insisted that true psychological growth, a process he called individuation, necessitates confronting and integrating the shadow. This isn't about becoming your shadow. It's about acknowledging its existence, understanding its drives, and consciously choosing how to channel its energy. It's about bringing the unconscious into consciousness, making the invisible visible. Only by integrating our shadow can we become whole, authentic individuals, free from its unconscious tyranny and able to harness its immense raw power for creation rather than destruction. This integration allows us to stand firmly in our authentic power, unburdened by hypocrisy or internal conflict. It's the path to becoming a truly individuated self. So, how do we begin this transformative journey into shadow integration? This isn't a quick fix, it's a lifelong process. But here are 4 actionable steps to start mastering your mind by befriending your shadow. 1. Acknowledge and identify. The first step is awareness. Pay attention to your strongest emotional reactions, especially intense anger, disgust, or judgment towards others. These are often indicators of projected shadow content. What qualities in others absolutely infuriate you? What criticisms do you constantly level at the world? Also, observe your dreams. The figures you fear or dislike in your dreams often represent aspects of your own shadow trying to emerge. Journaling your dreams and exploring these symbols can be incredibly revealing. Reflect on your dark fantasies or guilty pleasures. These often hint at repressed desires. 2. Confront through self-inquiry. Once you've identified a potential shadow aspect, don't immediately condemn it. Instead, engage in self-inquiry. Ask, where have I seen this trait in myself? When have I acted this way, even subtly? What fear or insecurity might be driving this aspect? This requires radical honesty and self-compassion. Techniques like active imagination, where you dialogue with these internal figures, or even writing letters to your shadow, can be powerful tools. Consider therapy or working with a Jungian analyst if this feels overwhelming, as deep shadow work benefits from guidance. 3. Integrate, don't eradicate. This is key. Integrating the shadow doesn't mean becoming cruel if your shadow holds aggression, or reckless if it holds impulsivity. It means acknowledging the raw energy, understanding its purpose, and consciously choosing how to express it in a constructive, ethical way. For instance, aggression can be transmuted into assertive drive, impulsivity into spontaneous creativity. It's about re-owning the disowned parts, not letting them control you, but rather bringing them into conscious awareness and making deliberate choices about their expression. You reclaim the energy, the vitality, the potential that was locked away. 4. Practice. Compassionate awareness and patience. Shadow work is messy, uncomfortable, and often brings up shame. Treat yourself with immense compassion throughout this process. Remember, your shadow formed as a protective mechanism, albeit a misguided one. Be patient. Some aspects of the shadow are deeply entrenched. This is a journey, not a destination. Each act of conscious integration frees up immense psychological energy, leading to greater authenticity, resilience, creativity, and profound psychological wholeness. Mastering your shadow is not about eliminating your darkness. It's about illuminating it. It's about forging a profound relationship with every part of yourself, seen and unseen. It's the ultimate act of self-sovereignty, transforming internal conflict into internal cohesion. It empowers you to navigate complex relationships, break cycles of self-sabotage, and answer those existential questions with a deeper, more integrated sense of self. Are you ready to step into the fullness of who you truly are? The journey begins now. Embrace your entire self and master your mind.